Excellent. Welcome to episode number 39. 39, really? Wow, 39 of these. Episode 39 of the broadcast from Lovecraft Cocktails. This is the 39th week in a row that we've broadcasted from the quarantine quarters here at Lovecraft Cocktails. So, what do we do here at Lovecraft Cocktails? Well, we mix cocktails. We talk a little bit about craft cocktails. We talk a little bit about tiki cocktails and rum, because man, I love me some rum, and tiki is awesome. Sometimes a little problematic on the political front, but still, the ethos is pretty awesome. Occasionally, we're hoping to do a little more talking about Lovecraft and the Lovecraftian mythos and tying that to drinks and that sort of thing. So, but today is our second broadcast from the new 2021. I know some of you have gone through your first 7-day trial and you want your money back. The free trial is not what you wanted, but look, we're here. So let's make the best of it. What do you say? And what? Yay! Wife! I am Pooch. This is Star.
Hi.
Together, we are Lovecraft Cocktails. Well, three-quarter Lovecraft cocktails. I make them. She drinks them.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I get a little.
And we have a date.
I get a little of the drinks. Just to clarify. Just clarifying. All right. We have a Dave. Yay, Dave. Dave matches up with somebody else. It's probably you. Is that the two up there?
Yeah.
See that? That's probably you over there. Yeah, okay. So Dave's there. Yay, Dave. Woohoo. What are we going to do tonight? Star asked me, what should we title this evening? And I went, I don't know. We got 3 random drinks that we're going to be talking about this evening. So, maybe we'll go back and edit this and put an actual title on. I don't know, because I don't know what these drinks have in common. Let's see. What have we done?
We cleaned out the attic.
We cleaned out the attic. I was thinking actually more craft cocktail wise.
Oh,
but,
I see. And took down the Christmas tree.
This has been a craft cocktails weekend, because this is our 4th cocktail event of the weekend.
Yes.
So we had
a agave drinks
right
by Megan Barnes, formerly of Espita.
We love you, Megan.
And
speaking of, a shout out to not that Megan, but the other Megan that we love so much, formerly of Cotton and Reed. Other Megan, Piker, is I'm not sure if she's still winging her way. She might be.
I think she's landed.
Because she's headed to the land down under.
Yeah.
So we are going to miss you terribly. And every time we go to Cotton and Reed in the future, we're just going to have to raise a glass to remember the fact that you have gone to the land down under and have been eaten by some animal. Because that's what happens in Australia, right? Everything's trying to kill you.
Yeah,
right. So that's
right.
Other things that have happened. So that was the first thing.
That was the first thing Saturday afternoon. Saturday night
was Shaker and Spoon box.
So our friends.
So we have friends that like us, apparently, as friends would, I suppose, and they gifted us with a subscription to Shaker and Spoon, and then collected a bunch of us all together to
Shaker and Spoon.
Spoon. For all you tick references, Spoon. So you get a whole bunch of stuff in here. Yeah. Everything that you need to make the cocktail is in there. Except the booze. But I mean, they even include things like, where is it? Over here, off screen. So one of the drinks that they had us make had salt flakes, and so they included a little bag of salt flakes. Because I'm like, well, wait, who doesn't have salt flakes lying around?
And itty bitty Angostura bitters.
Yeah, this is enough to snort. I mean, what the heck? Yeah. Right. So we had a bunch of people online for the Shaker and Spoon as we all made 3 different cocktails using interesting ingredients. I'm not sure there was anything there that I felt I really needed to run right out and pick up more of.
The marmalade stuff was yummy.
Yeah. The tamarind syrup was a little too tamarindy. And I think I would want to either make my own or cut that back some. I'm not sure what I want to do with that. So I'll have to figure out whether or not I'm going to do something with the leftover tamarind syrup. And there was a citrus saline.
Yeah, citrus saline. I really liked
citric
that.
acid saline solution. And there is some talk in cocktail circles about adding saline or salt to your cocktails in much the same way that a cook adds salt in order to brighten up the flavor and make the flavors more pronounced. So, that may be a thing. I got a small bottle of that solution. I'm certainly not making that cocktail ever again. So, I got a little solution of that to play around with and see what I want to do. So that was event 2.
Yeah, Amanda asked about our opinion of shaker and spoon. I think it was a lot of fun because we had a group of people that we did an online making and drinking them with, and in some cases making fun of.
Discussions about doing lines of the avocado
Supposedly, this was not the best box. Next month is January.
Yeah, so each month they feature a different spirit.
Right.
And, I was all excited because this was rum. And it may have been that this shaker and spoon box was pitched, for rum drinkers here, and we're, here somewhere. And that may have been a mismatch. I think there's more interesting and creative things that we do with rum here from the box. But it was still, okay, I wouldn't have put the green tea matcha syrup
and the
avocado powder together. Although, if I was going to do an egg foam cocktail and I wanted just a little bit of oily herbaceousness to it, I would shake that up, have that nice thick egg foam, and then just lay a line of the avocado powder over the top of it, so you get this green streak going across the egg white foam. So it would be really pretty that way. Maybe even a drink with chartreuse in it. So the drink is green, the head is the white egg foam, and then there's just a stripe of the. Although I don't know about avocado and chartreuse, but speaking of which, so we're gonna get really off track here.
We have not had a toast. There is no booze.
There's no booze. There's plenty of booze. We just aren't drinking any of it yet. Okay, so we did spend all of 3 minutes trying to come up with what were we going to toast. So, well, first of all, we're going to raise a glass to the fact that Megan has left us, unfortunately. Not left in that way, but we can't go out and drink with Megan anymore until we hold an anniversary party in Australia. But, okay, so we will do that. But the other thought was we have some new rums, because it's another week, so apparently we have new rums.
We have some new mugs.
We have some new mugs to show off
later.
So one of the rums that we got is a rum. It's a rum agricole. So and it's actually out of Martinique, so it's AOC and everything else that goes with that. We had this rum at a tiki bar in Poughkeepsie, New York. So we were up for one Christmas visiting my mom and her husband, and we elected to go out to the tiki bar, because the tiki bar had opened in Poughkeepsie, and we're like, okay, let's go ahead and do that. And turns out that they had been a tequila and mezcal bar, and had switched over to being a tiki bar for reasons. But they were still very mezcal and tequila forward. Still there were all these bottles of tequila on the walls and that sort of thing. But it was the first time that I got to taste a particular rum agricole that I've seen, but I've never seen in the sense of being able to pick up a bottle. So we were in the district. By we, I mean my procurer of alcohol. This is the wife.
I had to drop something off to someone in the district, and they were by Schneider's, and I had not yet made it to Schneider's during our quarantine procurement of alcohol. So I stopped in.
At one point, I asked the bartendress at Tiki Temple. I said, that bottle up there, I don't recognize that, and that's with your rum agricoles. And so my rum agricole experience is not nearly as broad as others, but as my experience with other rums. So I would like, what is that? And she said, this is the DeQuestney rum. I was like, DeQuestney? Nope, never heard of it. Nope. Yeah, so this is the DuQuesney, or if you're pronouncing it appropriately, is Duquesne. Yeah, so this is a Duquesne. This is the Duquesne, one of the Duquesne amber agricoles, and so we are going to have a drink of this, and we are going to toast to Tiki Temple for giving it the game old college try. They unfortunately have not survived.
But there is a new tiki
There is
bar
a new
in
tiki
Poughkeepsie.
and sushi bar in Poughkeepsie.
So we'll try that next time.
We will try that. But
Hi, Charity.
Here's for giving it the old college try. And
Charity, Ruth, Amanda.
Wow. So maybe we're getting like a whole bunch of not new audience, but people coming back and for number 2. I'm also not going to talk politics this week. Nope. Okay. Not happening. No. All right. So Duquesne. Here's to folks that are making a game effort to keep all of these local establishments going, because my God, we really want them to be around when the after times. In the after times, we wish them to be around. So here's to giving it the try. Keep the faith. Yeah. So definitely a rum agricole.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like, yep, definitely a rum agricole.
That is not as smooth as some of the rum agricoles we have.
Well, yeah, like the last one you had was the Clement XO, which is got like 10 years more aging on it than this. But
yeah. Hi, Colleen.
All right, so we got Amanda, David, Colleen, Charity, Ruth, bunch of usual folks. No, just kidding. So actually, I actually kind of like the Duquesne. It has the signature grassy note that is an agricole, because agricoles are produced from sugarcane directly, from the sugarcane syrup, sugarcane juice, not the molasses that's produced. So you still do pick up some of the terroir from the sugarcane. I believe in most cases this is not native sugarcane. This is industrial. Not industrial, genetically modified sugarcane to be high yield and that sort of thing, as opposed to being a native grass. Regardless of that, and I could be wrong on that. Regardless of that, this is a little single note, so I think this is a perfectly acceptable agricole for doing cocktails that call for a rum agricole. It's not very burny. It's not very sweet, but I mean this is an unassuming rum agricole that will give you that distinctive agricole note that you're looking for in every recipe that you want. I don't know that I would necessarily stick an ice cube in this and drink this straight as normal course. It is only bottled at 40%, which is I think it's the minimum percentage that you can bottle a rum at, so 40%. Little drying at the back of the throat. Yeah, if you haven't had a rum agricole, or you haven't had many rum agricoles, it is such a distinctly different flavor from molasses-based rums. It just is. It's the molasses-based rums all have that sort of vanilla note to them. Sometimes a little of the tobacco flavor to it, and you're not going to get any of that from this. Well, okay, you do get a little of that tobacco-ish, but it's like it's green tobacco as opposed to like burned tobacco, if that or dried tobacco, if that makes any sense at all. If you ever smelled green tobacco and dried tobacco, they're very, very different smells. And this is the green tobacco. I don't know why I'm talking about tobacco this evening, why that particular scent profile is on my mind. But yes, try rum agricoles. They're just going to be very different. They may not be to your liking, but on a very important point. If you're going to drink a rum, you want to know whether you're drinking an agricole or a molasses-based rum, because if you are expecting one and you drink the other, it is not going to go well because you're expecting an entirely different flavor profile. All right, so there we go. Rum Agricole to Tiki Temple and all of those out there that are making a try of it. Whether you succeed or not, we completely and utterly appreciate the effort. So there we go. While my lovely wife was picking up the Duquesne, she noticed that there was another rum agricole that she had not heard of, and neither had I. And we won't show you the price tag. Not because it's particularly a lot, but because it's not. But just it's rude to show the price tag. So here is La Favorite. La Favorite. I don't know. I do not speak French. And this is obviously French. Rum agricole ambre. Gold, right? Ambre, gold in French, I guess, something along those lines. Very similar profile to the Duquesne, except that I think there's a little more complexity to this one. So I might actually be more tempted to have a sip of this than the Duquesne straight. But both of them, I think, are outstanding agricoles for putting an agricole in a cocktail. Absolutely. Especially when you don't want to spend the money on like the VSOP or the XO from Clement or JM or something along those lines. I think these work just fine. These are not going to break the bank. And it's always good to help support manufacturers that are doing something different than all of the ordinary molasses rums. Not ordinary. I mean, my gosh, there's so many different things you can do with molasses-based rums, but like agricoles are 5% or less of the market. So, you know, if you can help out the agricole producers of the world, that would be awesome because we'll get more of that good stuff. She gave me a choice. She said, okay, you can have one kind of expensive rum and it could be this, or this, and no, you can't have that, or that. I was like, okay, fine. So I have a bottle of a Cadenhead rum, which I believe is if I remember right, is a blended rum. The brain is not does not remember offhand entirely well. But Cadenhead is not known necessarily for rums. Cadenhead is known for scotches and whiskeys, right? Yeah. So here's the Cadenhead Classic, product of West Indies, bottled by for Cadenhead. Campbellton, Argyll, Scotland, right? So it's a Scottish distillery, Scottish bottler, right? 5-year-old blend, column and pot still, Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, Panama, and Trinidad, right? So here you got a big mess of stuff shoved in this bottle. I actually really like this rum. It's bottled at 50%, which makes it a little bit hot. But there were several Cadenheads that we saw at Schneider's. And so I went ahead and had her pick up a single expression, which is the Cadenhead 10-year Panama. So that's what we have here. And this is a very clean rum. It's got to be column still, right? Yes, column still. I mean, it's such a clean... Star wasn't particularly impressed with it for its price point because it was so simple. She wanted more character from the rum, but there was something really special about just the cleanness of that singular flavor profile that it had that I really appreciated and really liked. So, you know, I'm going to keep my eye open for other expressions from Cadenhead. Campbelltown apparently is producing some really nice stuff or bottling some really nice stuff. So keep your eyes open at the higher end of your price range for the Cadenhead rums. This bottle I got in San Francisco, and so, you know, I hadn't seen Cadenheads for a long time since my last visit to San Francisco, so quite happy to get another bottle. All right, what else did we find? Star found this. So she saw it on the shelf and said, hey, I recognize that because it keeps popping up in my Facebook feed. So I'm going to go ahead and get a bottle. So she...
Favorite.
Favorite?
It's favorite.
Right.
In French, so
Favorite?
favorite.
Not favorite? Favorites? Like frites, right? And it's like French fries, right? Frites? Yeah, okay. So it has nothing to do with French fries. It's not the favorite rum of French fry eaters or something?
No, I
Like,
don't think
okay,
so.
nothing like that. All right. Um, so this rum kept showing up in Star's feed. She saw it on the shelf, wasn't that expensive, so she went ahead and bought it. Turns out it's imported from Panama. So we have like expanded the Panama rum collection in the last 3 months by like 4 different expressions. So that's kind of cool. Um, so obviously this is a silver or blanco rum, but that does not mean, as you should know if you've been watching me, that this is unaged. This is actually aged up to 5 years. So the oldest rum in here is 5 years old, and it was aged in bourbon casks. And it does not say whether it is a column or pot still, but it does say antique copper stills, which still could be either one. Um, this is actually kind of nice. I mean, this is a. I would drink this all day over Bacardi Superior. This has some nice complexity to the flavors, and I quite liked it. I still think it's primarily going to be a cocktail rum. I'm not sure that I really want to be drinking glasses of this, but with a nice rock in it, that'd probably be good. I think it's a better rum than a rum that you might use for, say, making a rum and coke. Although this would make a fine rum and coke, an expensive rum and coke, slightly more expensive. Um, they have a gorilla on here as their like mascot or animal. See the gold gorilla. So I don't know if that's related to the name or what, but you see it, and you got a few extra shekels in your give it a go. I mean, I think this is a perfectly fine, acceptable rum. Um, all right, so those are the rums that we've run across in the last week that we decided to pick up. Um, Now, obviously, we give the impression that we're out like every day hunting down new rums, and that's not the case. What happens is that we have some purveyors of very fine spirits in the district, and then when we get into the district, we feel like we would like to keep them in business, and so we like to patronize them. But we have several of them, and that means that it's like, well, okay, this week it's going to be that company, and this week it's going to be that company, and this week it's going to be that company. So yes, we're always finding new things because we're going to different spirit purveyors and finding new and interesting things. Which brings us to we are like at 114, 115 different expressions of rum in the house. So yeah, there's that. I might have a problem. Don't know. Maybe. So I would ordinarily I would continue and talk about other things that have arrived and cool stuff, and we will get to those. But right now, I think I should make a drink because I've been talking way too long, and you people are parched, or I'm getting parched, and you people don't want me to be parched. You want me to be drinking something. All right, so for Christmas, a couple of our friends got us a really nice kit involving some various balsamic vinegars and the like. And that kit came with some cocktail recipes, and I looked at those cocktail recipes and went, I could give some of those a try, or at least give them a whirl with some minor changes and additions to them. So as a consequence, that's what we're going to do. So let's give that a whirl. So the first thing,
Dave has a new nickname for me.
Dave has a new nickname. All right.
Star the Rum Runner.
I like it. I like it. There was a video going around talking about the real McCoy, who was like the original rum runner. And that was quite good. Apparently, I'm distracted. The tapping on the glass here, not like that's going to do anything. Our poor little lava lamp. I'm not sure what its problem is. It's just not going. It's warm enough. If you look in it, you can tell that this massive, like, whatever the lava liquid stuff is, it really wants to go up in the lamp, but it just can't. Whatever tension is on that is just a little too much for it to do that. And the last time I tried to actually shake it loose a little bit, yeah, it disintegrated into all these different blobs everywhere, and it was really gross looking for a long time. And so Stars told me I should never, ever do that again. So what do I know? I didn't grow up with lava lamps. They weren't a thing in my household. Anyway, wait, I'm not making a drink yet. I need to do that. Drink. Okay, so this drink is going out to Star. And it also goes out to a friend of ours, a bartender by the name of Zachary Faden, who we love and adore, because we found this in the package of balsamic vinegars, is a variation of a drink that we first had at Zach's bar, where Zach was head bartender at the Palms. And it involves scotch, which is not, it actually involves Islay scotch, which is not a common ingredient in cocktails because Islay scotch is smoky and peaty and it will take over a cocktail. So we're gonna work on a cocktail called the Quarantine Penicillin, and we're gonna give that a whirl here. So shout out to Zach for introducing us to drink that he called the Cure, which was a variation of an older drink called the Penicillin. And now we have the Quarantine Penicillin. And unfortunately, the company that provides these balsamics is... Okay, people. In a name, having D and N next to each other, just Monadnock? I have no idea. Yeah. That company, right? Those are the ones that are producing these balsamics. I'm not going to try and pronounce them. I don't know them. Thank you to those people that got it for us. You know who you are. All right, so how does this drink start? This drink is just built in a rocks glass. And I happen to have a rocks glass right over here because, well, I actually prepped for this time. All right, so rocks glass. We're going to add a rock to this glass, like singular large rock. And if I can get in here to this bag, I have some real clear ice that I have made prior to this, which is very crisp and clean, clear ice. We kickstarted the Real Clear Ice program, and I have not been disappointed with the ice that was produced by them, by their device. So it produces a very, very clear cube. This is a little bit older cube and has got some frosting at one end here. If I were to run some water over that, that frosting would just go away. But you can tell that's pretty, yeah, you can almost see through this, right? Some occlusions in it, but not too many. Also fits directly in that rocks glass, which is an awesome thing. All right, next up, a ½ ounce of honey ginger white balsamic. All right, so we have some white balsamics here. Here's the honey ginger, 1/2 ounce. Where's a jigger? There's a jigger. Jig, 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 jig. ½ ounce, come on, come on. It's a wee little bottle. There is a ½ ounce. All right. And then I think that's the white Sicilian lemon. Is that right? Sicilian lemon white balsamic. Yep. And we have a teaspoon of this. Teaspoon. Oh, this even comes with a dasher top to it. That's interesting. That's the dasher top is going to go there. So they don't really want you to expect you to be using a whole lot of this. Stick that back on. I need a teaspoon. There's my teaspoon. Wait, did I say? I said full teaspoon. Okay, good, good. Because if it was a ½ teaspoon, I was either going to have to dig for another spoon, or I was going to just have to eyeball it. And I hate eyeballing it. Yeah, so we were watching. Who was it we were watching that was doing a? Oh, right. No, I should probably not say that. Yeah, we were watching somebody making cocktails, and they were being very critical of certain bartenders' stirring techniques for the cocktails. But then they like free poured their alcohol into the drink. They're like, that looks about right. I'm like, measure, measure your ingredients. All right, so the two vinegars went in here. So there's a lemon vinegar and there's a white ginger, right? Honey ginger vinegar in here. And then we need 1½ ounces of blended scotch. And our typical blended scotch that we use around here is Dewar's. We are going slightly different. The Dewar's we are going to use this evening instead of their standard 12 is the Caribbean Smooth. So we're going to give this a try. Has a rum cask finish, hence it's showing up on the Quarantiki. When last we tasted this, we did not think that the rum cask came through really particularly well, and it kind of tasted just like a, well, blended scotch with a kind of odd flavor at the end. So that's what we're going to use, because we're going to use it up, right? So we need 1.5 ounces of that. No speed pourer on this. There's 1 ounce. And there's 1/2. There you go, 1.5 ounces blended scotch. All right, so what's going to happen is we are going to take a spoon, a bar spoon, we're going to stir this, combine all those ingredients. Oop, that goes in. You're going to do this just like you would use a mixing pint. Right, you're just going to stir this around, get some coldness on here, a little dilution off the main rock. And full disclosure, I have not tried any of these cocktails. I have not used any of these balsamic vinegars in these cocktails. So, wow, I don't know what these are going to be like. You said, wait, you said this cocktail involved Islay Scotch. You could be pulling my leg and saying, oh, it involves Islay Scotch in the sense that Dewar's has some Islay in it. But I would probably beg to differ. I doubt that that's actually true. Well, that's quite lovely. But what this then calls for is a last-minute addition of 1/2 ounce of an Islay peated scotch. And so we have many of these Islay peated scotches because Star loves them. I'm kind of a Highland guy myself. I don't need all of that peat. But we do own part of a cask of Bruichladdich. So this came from, this is Bruichladdich Scottish Distillery. This is their Port Charlotte, 2007, heavily peated. So we're going to get some nice peat off of this, and that is going to make Star really happy. So it's what, 1/2 ounce? Double check. Yeah, 1/2 ounce of Islay Scotch. So to Brooke, who's saying, really? You're going to go Dewar's given all the really nice scotch you have? Yeah, we're using a Port Charlotte for this, okay? I'm just going to pour that right on top. Now, if I remember right, when Zach is making his version of the cure, which is different than this, but in the same sort of general family ish kind of thing. I mean, he's not using balsamics in it. He grates fresh ginger over the top of this, which adds a really pungent smell to it, which is really nice. I don't have any ginger, so I'm not going to do that. In my tasting notes, though, I'm going to talk about, or in my recipe notes, I will talk about grating some fresh ginger over this. But what I do have is other friends sent us some candied ginger. Candied ginger, right? So we're going to stick those on a pick, and that's going to go right there. And that's all it is. So there we go. This is the Quarantine Penicillin, because ginger and scotch is good for you, right? Wow, that is amazingly like how I remember Zach's cure, but it doesn't have quite the same punch of ginger. So I think the fresh grated ginger would really make that. I think she's gonna really like this cocktail. Yeah, look at this face. Look in the camera. Look in the camera. Make that face. Yeah, that's
good.
Yeah, does need like that fresh. It's a little muddy. It feels like it needs that fresh punch of ginger or something with it.
That's very spirit forward.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're drinking a glass of scotch there.
Yeah.
There's 2 ounces of scotch in that.
Yeah.
And and little over 1 ounce of some balsamic vinegar. Yep. It will probably get better as it dilutes a little bit.
Yeah.
but it will dilute slowly over time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's going to be quite tasty. What are you doing? You running away with that?
Yeah.
You can't run away with this one because the next drink requires this one. This is a
I'm
different bottle.
going to look up the.
All right, so this is going to go over there to you because I know you're going to love that a lot more than I do. I mean, I like it. I like scotch. I like ginger. I like ginger so much that I'm going to eat this piece of candied ginger right in front of you. Mom said don't talk with your mouth full, so I'm going to try and keep my mouth shut while I'm talking. How's that? Pungent candied ginger. Oh, this is really good. Wow, this is from Sierra Nut House. And this is from... Oh, it's actually a little hot. This is from my friend Greg in Southern California. So see, here's the deal. Even if people don't give us cocktail-specific gifts for Christmas, it doesn't matter. We'll use them in cocktails. That's the way it works, right? Okay. So drink number 1 is down. The Quarantine Penicillin using...
Brooke is right as usual.
Oh, what? What did I miss?
So Brooke suggested actually taking the ginger and the candied ginger
And dipping it in.
Dipping it in.
Right, and that made a difference?
You should taste this again.
Look, I'm just going to credit myself with thinking that I should use the candied ginger with the cocktail.
Right.
Because it's not actually asked for a garnish. But you know, I think what it might be more than... Yeah, there's... I can't tell if it's adding any ginger because I just ate some ginger. But it is definitely... Because the ginger is candied, the sugar is dissolving in that drink and adding a little bit of sweetness to it. So you've now added sweetness to Isla's Scotch, which means I'm never seeing that drink again.
Yeah,
that's
Amanda
all.
wanted to know if it was Jack the Ripper playing in the background.
I don't know what was playing in the background.
I think it was.
So
what are we listening to?
So what are we listening to? Sure. Hey, we apparently got the music at a right volume, right? People can hear the music. Yay! Because apparently it's not drowning me out, right? You can hear me, and you can hear some of the music, or at least Amanda can. She just may have like really good hearing. So what I did was turned out that my friend Brooke, who is actually on the line currently, has friend or friends that play with a music group called Los Straitjackets. And Los Straitjackets do surf music, surf guitar, surf rock, and they do it while wearing luchador masks. Yes, Mexican wrestling masks. They're actually a very well-known surf rock band. And so I just plugged Los Straitjackets into Pandora and said, play me stuff like this. And Pandora went, oh, you mean surf rock that's instrumental? I went, sure, that works. And I've thumbed up to everything that was instrumental and thumbed down anything that wasn't instrumental, which has only been like 3 songs in the entire time I've been playing this particular station. And man, this is good stuff. If you like surf rock, this worked as a seed amazingly well. And for the next time I do like a tiki party, when we can actually have people over in the after times, assuming there are after times, this is going to go in what I... Okay, full disclosure, didn't know I was going to go down this route. It's always nice to have ambient music for your tiki parties. It just sets the scene. It helps keep people in the mood. And that can be all sorts of different things coming together, different types of music. There is a form of light jazz called exotica that Martin Lyman and I'm totally going to blank on Martin Denny, which means Lyman's name wasn't Martin. Okay, so Lyman, Denny, there's at least one other like really big name within the exotica field, doing the light jazz that you normally would associate with tiki bars. So I generally put on a couple of stations that are seated with those guys. There's a couple of just tiki stations. Do those. Maybe throw in a little bit of like Cuban or Caribbean music to it. Add some surf rock to it, and then just put those stations in rotation. Put them on shuffle. And that's what I play in the background when I'm doing tiki parties or when I'm feeling especially needy of a tiki kind of environment. And that really seems to work out very, very well. So there, that's how I select my music. I really don't select it so much as decide which stations. So Amanda's liking the surf rock soundtrack. Yay! Works really much better than anything that has words going along with it. So that's good. Yay! But I've only done one drink so far, and we're like way into this. So I've got totally got to get moving on this. So the second drink I think is going to be mine. I don't think this is going to be Star's drink, which is good because she's got one and she's enjoying it. So this drink actually uses a mixing pint. So we're going to build this drink in here. I'm not going to use the same spoon because I really don't want ginger in that. So we're going to go over here. I'm not going to use that one. We're going to use my Cthulhu bar spoon. You guys have seen the Cthulhu bar spoon, right? Yeah, look at this. That's very cool. It's got a really nice spoon at the end. Some bar spoons are pretty flat. So here is one I have from Angel's Envy, and you can tell that there's not a whole lot of volume there in that particular spoon. So it's more like a paddle for stirring. But this, the Cthulhu bar spoon, that guy probably holds about a quarter ounce. Which is really good to be able to have that. So when a recipe calls for a bar spoon of something, usually Luxardo it seems like, this works really well as an approximate measurement. One of the things I learned from Greg at How to Drink was you would think this would be obvious to someone with any sort of scientific inclination whatsoever, is when you get a new bar spoon, put some liquid in it and measure it, and that'll tell you how much liquid your bar spoon holds. That makes absolutely perfect sense, and it's crying shame that I hadn't done that up until that point. So thank you, Greg, from How to Drink, for schooling me on the fact that I should know how much my bar spoons actually dish out, because I know that none of these bar spoons are the same amount. I just know it. All right, so we're going to start with this. We're going to throw some ice in here, and we're going to put some rye, and we're going to put a little bit of a Mission Fig balsamic vinegar in here. And my God, that's going to be yummy. I looked at this recipe and I went, you know, that seems really good, but I think I want some smoke in that too. I don't know why. Normally I don't smoke figs, but who knows? But I'm going to try and add a smoky note to that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this, right, this guy, little tiny small brandy snifter. I'm going to toss a little itty bitty bit of some rye in here. I mean, little tiny, like a little more than a couple of drops, but not a whole lot more. I'm going to spin this around. We want to not even get a real coating, but we just want some liquid in there. Yeah, we're just getting a couple of drops coming off of that, which is perfect. I'm going to set this upside down on the bar mat. And then I am going to take my torch. I have sitting right next to me a burn board, brand spanking new hunk of pine. And
Untreated.
Untreated. Yes, untreated.
Sure.
Not badly treated, not poorly treated, not even well treated. Untreated pine. Yes, make sure you get untreated pine. Because otherwise bad things will happen to you when you ignite it and drink smoke from it. So what we're going to do is we're going to just take this torch, we're going to turn it on, we're going to put a nice char mark on here, get a little smoke coming up off of it, and then I'm going to place the glass that has the rye pouring out of it over that, and the snifter form of that is going to help hold some of that smoke in when we invert it. So we're going to do this, turn that on, and we're just going to go here. Now, if you've ever been to a bar that smokes their cocktails, like smokes old fashions and that sort of thing, they generally have a much larger torch. They're getting a much deeper char, and it takes much less time than this. See, I'm actually now got, look at that, I got actual flame on that. And then I can just top that up there. When we get a little smoke in there, I can smell the smoke. And now I got to move. All right, so now we got to get going. We're going to throw some ice in here, just some cubes. I'm going to use my hands for this because I don't want to waste time looking for a scoop. All right. And then we need a ½ ounce of this Mission Fig balsamic. So this is a dark balsamic as opposed to a white balsamic. What did I say, ½ ounce? ½ ounce. Yeah, no, we're not using that one. Same reason, ginger. Ginger would be a bad addition to this. Glug, 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 glug. These balsamics are not like a real thick balsamic that you sometimes get, where you're trying to pour it and it's coming out kind of like molasses. That's not this. This is a pretty thin vinegar, balsamic vinegar. We need 2 dashes of Peychaud's bitters. So yeah, Amanda, not Angostura. Turns out Amanda, who was thinking she didn't have any Peychaud's, only had Peychaud's and did not have Angostura. I'm assuming Amanda has remedied that situation by now. All right, we're gonna go 1, 2 dashes of the Peychaud's bitters. You may be wondering why that bottle doesn't look like any other bottle of Peychaud's. Well, there's a good reason for that, and that's because I buy Peychaud's in the large bottle, same thing with the Angostura, and I dole it out into smaller bottles because I use it. All right, so that goes in there, and then we're going to put some rye in here, and we are going to go with the bartender's favorite Rittenhouse straight rye, 100 proof. So this is going to be a straightforward, spirit-forward cocktail. We're going to go 2 ounces of this. Right, there's one. I am going to double check my recipe here just to be absolutely sure. Oh yeah, good thing I checked. So this is a important thing to note. It actually says only 1.5 ounces. That's right. Apparently my notes were incorrect. Good thing too, because this is like I said, it's 100 proof, bottled in bond. This is good stuff. But it is going to be very, very straightforward, spirit forward. That's it. It's the Peychaud's, the balsamic vinegar, and rye. And you're going to go ahead and stick this in, and you're going to twirl. So there was much discussion the other day about appropriate technique for stirring a cocktail. Now, I completely agree with the school of thought that says less sound is good, and you should have a relatively free-flowing hand as this is turning. The twisted nature of most bar spoons allows it to move around in your fingers. One of the schools of thought says that you want to hold the bar spoon this way, right? So you've got the bar spoon coming down between these 2 fingers and these 2 fingers on the other side of it, and you're engaged in sort of a push-pull action with this. I find that that's generally, I mean, that's mostly what I'm doing here, but not entirely. Others describe this as more of a pencil writing motion. What you don't want to do is like do this with a stir, and you're not really trying to agitate the cubes too much because you don't want the cubes breaking up. That's the whole point in doing this. I've had a lot of grief, or I've given a lot of grief to Alton Brown for how he uses a julep strainer. I've seen him try and use the julep strainer like this, where he's got it over the outside, and that's a complete fail. But I've been schooled that you can, in fact, use the julep strainer in one of 2 ways. You can stick the julep strainer in like such, right, and use it like this, or you can flip it around and use it like this, and that actually forms a pretty nice seal with only 1 finger. And so you can take your nice glass here that's been smoking, got a little smoke in it, flip that over, and pour your cocktail just right in there. And the cold cocktail hitting the insides of that glass causes condensation and smoke to arise from it, which is really pretty cool. If you char the board a lot, you're going to get a lot of smoky flavor. I'm just trying to get a hint of that. So there we go. This is the, what do we call this? This is the Mission Manhattan. Doesn't quite reach the same proportions as a Manhattan, but we're going to give this a try anyway. Oh, the smoke on that is so lovely. Oh, yum. Wow. I'm in danger. I may have found a rye cocktail that my wife will drink. This is dangerous. This is. I said this is going to be spirit forward. I don't find this particularly spirit forward. I find this more like I'm drinking a Fig Newton with a little bit of char on it. I'm glad I added the smoke, because otherwise it'd be just like drinking a Fig Newton.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
I'll let you have it, because I have another drink.
It is so much like drinking a Fig Newton that I think I would want to cut back on the Mission Fig balsamic.
Okay.
Because I'm not getting as much of the rye as I... Well, there's...
You wouldn't want to add some fig...
I don't have any fig bitters.
You have fig syrup. You have date syrup.
Sorry. I have date syrup. Dates and figs are different things. Yes.
Sorry.
I once dated a fig. No, that's not true. This is actually quite good. Very, very black. And also very different from a black Manhattan. This is delightful and tasty, and makes me very glad that I actually have a second bottle of Mission Fig balsamic vinegar upstairs that I use for cooking, because I may have to make more of these. Maybe again bring down the balsamic a little bit, but man, that's some tasty ass shit. That's good. Star says that Google told her that in addition to using pine boards, you could use oak, maple, hickory, apple, cherry, alderwood. Don't use plywood. Don't use pressed wood. Okay? Just make sure you're dealing with untreated wood. That's the key here. Untreated wood. All right. So wow, that's quite tasty. Quite tasty. All right. But you may have noticed neither of these are both craft cocktails, but you would not call either of these drinks anything even remotely tiki-esque. Well, we're going to have to remedy that. Yep, we will have to remedy that. And so I was pouring forth across Smuggler's Cove and said, hey, here's a drink recipe that my lovely wife has marked as, I would like to try that at some point. And so as a consequence, we're going to have to try that. I'm going to make her get up because I forgot to bring my spice syrup to the table here, and we're going to need that in order to make this particular cocktail.
It's in the back. It
is in the back. It's in the refrigerator. You can tell because it's got the cinnamon stick that won't sink down into it because it's so freaking thick. The cocktail that we're going to do this evening, the tiki cocktail, is the Golden Gun, which seems to be one of everyone's least favorite Bond films. I actually quite like The Man with the Golden Gun. I'm not even sure that that's what the drink is named after, but it's perfectly reasonable assumption there. So a couple of things to say about this next drink that we're going to do. The notes on this drink in Smuggler's Cove talk about being I think it was a tiki oasis, so one of the big tiki conventions in the country, and that they were having an exercise or workshop, and the final exam was each table was supposed to come up with an original cocktail using the ingredients that were provided, and it was generally a bunch of different rums and mixers and that sort of thing, various liqueurs that could all fit together, but this drink, the Golden Gun, was actually the winner of that particular workshop. For some reason, I remember it being table 12. I'm not sure that's entirely accurate. But the idea that you can go to a tiki convention, hang out with people that like things tiki, that know how to make good tiki cocktails, go to a workshop that has Martin Kate at it, and your final exam is make an original tiki cocktail using the ingredients provided by the convention to you. I'm sorry, what is not to like about this experience? I mean, other than the fact that right now would be a bad thing, but yeah. So someday the wife and I are going to a tiki convention. I mean, it's just a pretty darn shooting assured that that is going to happen at some point, because that just sounds like way too much fun to me. All right, so another sip of our Mission Manhattan. Yep, I think I probably would have been happier if I stuck with my 2 ounces of rye to begin with. Either pull back the Mission Fig Balsamic or add a little more rye to it. But that is delightful. Oh, it's very nice. But then again, I love figs. I'm less a fan of the dried figs than I am of fresh figs, but this at least is reminiscent of that. And yeah, I know there are people on the podcast that actually get fresh figs, and even maybe 1 or 2 that actually have fig trees. Unfortunately, none of those people are local to me because, well, I would eat every fig you could possibly send my way. Anywho, so there you go. That's a little known detail about me, that I love fresh figs. What else? Before making this golden gun, I think it's obligatory to point out that we have new tiki mugs, or new tiki vats, because these mugs are enormous. So the back door, right, the door behind me, is now got our cat back on it, right?
Our
so
cat,
this is the tiki cat, right? Well, the same artist that did that, Brad Parker, right?
AKA Tiki Shark.
Brad Parker, who goes by the nickname of Tiki Shark, also does tiki mugs. And Star had seen this mug and she said, I want this mug. This is such a cool mug. It comes in a couple of different varieties, but I want the one with the red eyes on it. So I gotta have this mug. But wow, oh, that's a little expensive. I'm not sure I want to spend that much on that mug. Oh wait, it's Christmas clearance time or New Year's clearance time, and they're offering a special of 2 mugs, 2 different mugs, for less than one of these mugs would normally cost. And so, this set of mugs arrived.
And they have 2 more.
And they have 2 more. They have
sets.
2 more sets. So if you're interested in these mugs, go to Tiki Shark. Star put the link in here and buy them now. And you can always tell them that Lovecraft Cocktail sent you. It won't get you anything, but Brad might actually, Mr. Parker, I don't know him personally, might actually then recognize our name at some point in the future, which would be cool. Name dropping, right? Okay. So what do the mugs look like? They're like, what? You guys have a whole bunch of tiki mugs. What kind of mugs would impress you? Well, these are not actually Cthulhu mugs. Wow, right? Okay. So here is the back of the mug that Star fell in love with. So it's got the little prancing Aztec kind of dude there. And you're like, Aztec? Is that Aztec? I can't really tell if that's Aztec. But if you... this is the Sagrada Sangre del Jaguar. Because Jaguar Priest on the front of this. Look at that. That is so freaking cool. Yeah. And this is a cavernous mug. Oh my gosh. I don't know how many ounces this has in it, but it's a lot. Look, deep dark cavern. Oh my god. This is a monster mug. This is, I mean, people have said I've got a big head, and look at this. The mug is taller than my face, all right? So this is a big mug. Awesome looking thing. She wanted the one with the little red dots in the eyes. We got the one with the red dots in the eyes.
22 ounces.
22 ounces. 2 ounces. That's a party drink. That is not a single person drink. That is a party drink. So what's the other mug that we got with this? The other mug is a tribute to Don the Beachcomber, and actually Don the Beachcomber and his Hawaiian restaurant, Tiki Bar. And so the back of the mug looks like this, right? It's Don the Beachcomber, Hawaii. Got a nice stylized Don the Beachcomber on it. And then the front is just cool. I mean, the front is like a classic tiki sitting on the two skulls. This is just awesome. And it's a terracotta kind of finish to it with a green interior. This is just pretty awesome. This is the Dawn the Beachcomber mug, 2020 Brad Parker. Awesome stuff. Two left.
Two left of the set.
Two left of this set. You can get the individuals still. He has multiple of those individual mugs and different, slightly different forms of those, right?
Yeah. And the sale, the end of year sale, both mugs, $36 including shipping. That's like ridiculously cheap for tiki mugs.
Yes,
so.
thank you, Mr. Brad Parker.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tiki Shark. We now have two 22-ounce mugs that sometime we're going to just, maybe the 20th, we're going to fill those things up and put big straws in them and sit there and just sip those drinks all night long. But if you have tiki mugs, you need tiki drinks. And I said I was going to make you a golden gun. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make you a golden gun. If you do a variation of this drink, make a change to it, I got to think you're going to want to call this drink the Scaramanga, right? Because all you Bond fans out there knowing Scaramanga was the man with the golden gun. Either that or I'm just old. Which the first of those ingredients is grapefruit juice. Yes, this is a can, but it is a can of white grapefruit juice. White grapefruits are not in season at the moment. White grapefruits are pretty hard to find generally, so man was I happy when I came across a flat of the Ocean Spray white grapefruit juice, because it means I can do cocktails that need white grapefruit juice all freaking year long. Half ounce of grapefruit juice. We're gonna go half ounce. Half ounce grapefruit juice. Dun dun dun. I will finish that can. It'll happen. I believe it said 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. So we're going to go, again, fresh squeezed lime juice. 3/4, double checking. You guys know by now, I don't have these drink recipes memorized. I mean, how many of these blasted things have we done? We've done 39. We're almost done with 39. Let's say we're averaging 2.5, maybe closer to 3 cocktails per. Yeah, I don't have all of these things memorized. Oh, speaking of which, talking with Megan, formerly of Espita, who used to work at the Columbia Room, which is freaking-tastic cocktails in the district and cocktail experience. Yeah, she was talking about the training program that they had there at Columbia Room. And they wouldn't let her serve customers anything that had alcohol in it until she had memorized and gotten down pat the Columbia Room way for making 100 different cocktails. That's freaking impressive. I hope there were a lot of flashcards in her life, because there's no way that I could do it in any other way besides like flashcard. How do you make that? Flashcard. How do you make that? Flashcard. How do you make that? So 100 cocktails. Ow. Especially if they're tiki cocktails, which Columbia Room is not a tiki cocktail place. But man, think about 100 tiki cocktails. Wow, all those ingredients. All right, so we're not even halfway through making the golden gun. We've got grapefruit juice and lime juice. Right now, that'll wake you up in the morning, but that's not what we want right now. Okay, so we need a half ounce of a Demerara syrup. And here we are going to go with the spiced syrup. This is a Demerara syrup that has spices infused in it. Those spices are allspice, cardamom, star anise, cinnamon, nutmeg, probably other things that I'm forgetting. Clove. Yeah, clove's in there. Something else. Yes, you are correct. If you're going to point this out to me, catching me on this, usually I put the syrup in first so that I can clean my jigger out with my citrus. I just simply forgot, because have I mentioned that the Mission Manhattan is pretty tasty? And I had a cocktail before this even started, so yeah. All right, what else we're doing? A half ounce of apricot liqueur. Oh, that's out of left field, right? Half-ounce apricot liqueur. We had, and we're using for quite some time, like Decoupier's or Hiram Walker's apricot liqueur. I won't say that was a mistake, but this is much better. This is the Gifford's Apricot de Roussillon. It's named after the Time Lord? No, that can't be right. Okay, anyway, so apricot flavored liqueur from Gifford's.
Well, I've not yet tried in coffee.
Star has not yet tried in coffee. There's a story about Star and apricot brandy in coffee, which we'll relate at some later time. I need to make a cocktail. What, half ounce? Half ounce? Double check. Half ounce? Yes, half ounce. Now, 2 rums. 2 rums for this. And Martin Kate says what you need to do here is you want to go with blended rums. So you want a mix of column and pot still rums. And you want one that's lightly aged, and you want one that's got a little more legs on it, right? So the lightly aged is like 4 years and younger. The sort of middling age, 5 to 8, 5 to 10, something in that range. So blended rum, lightly aged, but not unaged. Sure. Plantation 3-star. We'll go with that. So we're going to go 1 ounce of the Plantation 3-star, blend of pot and column still. I almost said Pollum and cot still. That you would think I'd have a lot more to drink than I actually have. So the second, lightly aged, not lightly, medium aged. So we're going to go with the Eldorado 8. So this is Demerara rum, and this is going to be just fine with this drink, I think. You don't want, for something like this where the recipe is calling for a lightly aged and a sort of more moderate aged rum, I would not go with 2 of the same expression of rum that is just differenced by the age. You actually want to bring different characteristics to the party. So in this case, the Plantation and the Eldorado are going to be very different rums. You've got the age statements coming in. They're both blends of column and pot still. So you're going to get some of that cleanness, but just a little bit more of, there's something else here. And I think these 2 are going to be very complementary to one another. At least I hope so. This is going to be served in a highball glass. And we're going to go ahead and use these guys. A genuine walnut here on the walnut frame on there. These are clearly mid-century America glasses. We love these. We picked them up last year, like midway point through last year. They're in really good shape for being, what, 50 years old, 50, almost 60 years old. I'm really surprised the walnut has held up this long. But
I did a butcher's block.
Oh, that's right. We because of the wood paneling on here, we took the oil and the same sort of treatment you would do for your cutting boards to keep them supple and keep them from drying out. We did that to the walnut on here. It's a very thin sheet of walnut, but as soon as we added that, my wife added that treatment to it, the walnut just popped on these guys. So this is, yeah, very, very pleased. They weren't all that expensive. They really weren't very expensive at all. And we got a set of like 8 of them, which is great. They come in different colors, and they're just they're a style that I remember from growing up. So it just brings back nostalgia, and they look cool. So we're gonna load this up with some ice. We need some crushed ice in here, and it's fortunate that I have an ice crusher because we need crushed ice. So we're gonna fill this with about. Right, we're gonna do that. Fill that right there. Seems good. God, I hope I got this right. Yeah. Crushed stringers, crushed ice. Yep. That's looking like it'll work. I need some ice cubes in the shaker. Some of this. Lid this up, and we're gonna give it a shake. It's frosty outside. A little bit of foaming there. That looks really good to me. All right, we are going to strain this in a fairly fine strainer here. Now it says just to strain it, but for some reason, I'm not sure why, but my instincts are telling me to double strain this. So I'm going to do that. We'll see if that makes any difference, because we'll see what shows up in the strainer. All right, so a little bit left in that glass. So we have Surfside Sips coming to the rescue again. This is a little bit of a more narrow. Usually our bamboo straws that we get are like wide diameter because we're making blended drinks with them and you don't want them stopping up with ice. But in this case, we shouldn't have that problem. So this is going to go in here. There is no recommended garnish for this. I could put a lime wheel on here or something, but until I really taste it, I don't really know what will go with it. And sadly enough, I don't have any mint on the bar at the moment. So, yeah, so it's going to be a... There! It's garnished. How's that? Oh, crap. Can I have one more sip of that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll even go get you some more.
I don't think it needs it, actually.
I don't think it does either.
No, that's delightful. Oh, the apricot really comes through on that. But the apricot could be overpowering if you didn't have that grapefruit juice and the lime juice in there. That citric really cuts it and is a nice complement to it. So that's freaking delightful. Yeah, I like that. I like that so much that I'm going to get the rest of it out of this shaker and pour it into a different glass. There's more in here, right? There is. Look at that. There's more in here. More for me. Ha ha. There we go. And then that'll go into the sink. So there you have it. That's 3 cocktails. 2 of which are more sort of traditional craft cocktails, but they are made with balsamic vinegar, which is a little bit unusual, but not terribly. Oh, there you go. Cool. And the last is a definite, there's no getting around this. This is a tiki drink. Coming to you from the Tiki Oasis, I believe Table 12 workshop. And look at this, we get this in, this actually works really nicely in this glass. You can see the little legs hanging down, little tentacles propping it up. This is a delightful little drink. And it would be spot on perfect if this weren't coming from a can. If this were bright, fresh grapefruit juice, this would be like lights out awesome. As it is, that's a darn fantastic. It is. It's got that. Well, okay. So you have to like apricot. If you don't like apricot, you won't like this drink. The apricot liqueur is certainly the primary player in here. You could go with a funkier rum. Here, this is the apricot and fruit is really the front player here, and I think you need a little more aggressive rum to really, if you really want the rum notes to come through on this, because I don't pick up a whole lot of the rum notes, but it is tasty. I might change my mind on the rum selection and go with a rum that's got a longer palate. Because the rum and the apricot is all merging together in this nice flavor, but that's what you get. And the drink is a little one note in that aspect. But if you used a rum that's got a little lengthier tail on it, like a Bayesian rum, a good Bayesian rum, like the RL Seal or one of the Dorleys, I think would go really nicely with this instead of, say, the Eldorado 8. The Eldorado 8 has some fruit notes to it that this is probably just playing up. So so maybe going in a different direction is good. I'm not sure this would play well with the Jamaican. Maybe a really light Jamaican, like the Appleton Signature or something like that. But I think anything that's got a lot of the hogo and funk to it, rotten banana would not be a flavor I want to add to this. And that's what you're going to get with the funk. I know rotten banana doesn't sound good, but it actually works really, really well in cocktails. Not an actual rotten banana. The hogo from the Jamaican rum that everybody likens to sort of rotten bananas. What was it I was drinking the other night, hun? And I said, unlike the usual rotten banana, this was like overly green bananas were in the cocktail. Oh, it was one of the shaker and spoon cocktails. Was it the first one?
It was the first one.
With the green tea syrup
Right.
and the avocado powder and that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was weird.
So I've not changed my mind about the avocado powder. None of the drinks I've made this evening should have avocado powder in them. Yeah, so still not sure what to do with this bag of avocado powder, but we'll find something to do with it. This is delightfully light and refreshing. It is weird coming from the dark, figgy, wintry notes of the Mission Fig Manhattan to the bright, citrusy notes and stone fruit notes of the Golden Gun. But this is good. As I slurp into the microphone. I almost want a little more grapefruit in that and a little less of the apricot. But wow. Part of that is, again, I am used to like the apricot brandies or apricot flavored liqueur as opposed to the apricot flavored liqueur at sort of the low well end of things. The Giffords is definitely a step up, has a lot more aggressive apricot flavor to it. So yeah. Now I'm itching to make a Trade Winds because Trade Winds also has apricot in it, and this is one of Star's favorite drinks. And I think the hint of apricot that I've been getting from that drink, if it kicked up a little bit more, I think it would probably just curl her toes and she would love it. So there we go. Do we want to answer some questions? Are there any questions that I haven't answered or talked about? Oh wait, there's because it's us. There's still more new stuff. Okay, if you have not yet glommed onto this thing, hopefully it is where everybody should have one of these in their local area. But she saw these things being offered on Buy Nothing and said, wait, wouldn't those work really, really well for our water service? Like for just providing water, which by the way, if you go to a bar and they're not serving you glasses of water with your drinks, they're not a good bar. They should be giving you water with those drinks. So here we have a set of glasses, and these glasses are, they're pretty common little drinking glasses, but they have this wondrous little woven bit. I'm not sure what else to call this. A woven bit cover that goes around the outside of it. And that just looks, how is that not a tiki water glass? It just is, right? That is awesome. And so, we've got a set of glasses, two, right? We have two. Okay, so set. We have a couple of glasses that have water in them. And the reason we call this a water set is because it also came with a couple of pitchers. Look at the pitcher. Look at this, right? So this is a carafe, obviously. It's just a standard glass carafe, but they've added this this woven wicker covering thing around it. And again, you just dump some ice cubes in here, pour some water over that, and all of a sudden you've got a water bottle that can just sit on the table, and that way you don't get too parched while you're drinking all these lovely cocktails that I'm knocking back. So there. We've got, so we covered some rum. We covered Tiki Temple in Poughkeepsie, New York. Covered the Tiki Shark mugs that are just freaking awesome. right? Covered water service. We did the use of balsamic vinegars in a cocktail. So the balsamics, so if I haven't said this, so the balsamics are really taking the place of both your sour and your sweet component, because the balsamic is very sweet, but they've got that bite, that acidic bite of the vinegar, and so that takes place of the citrus. So the balsamic is sort of a natural kind of thing to do with that.
We talked about shaker and spoon.
Talked about our shaker and spoon experience. Talked about how this is a really boozy weekend because we've had 4 different cocktail events.
And the 4th thing was Museum of Distilled Spirits.
Right. Okay. We know that's right because we got off track and we didn't talk about the 3rd and 4th thing. So the 3rd thing is the Museum of Distilled Spirits did another special on tequila, where they actually did sort of a virtual walkthrough of the city of Tequila in Mexico and visited a bunch of the different distilleries and showed you pictures of the different distilleries and how they approach making tequila and how each approach is slightly different, a little bit of the history of it. And Star was there for all of that, and I popped in and out, and it was quite informative and kind of cool. So we really enjoyed that.
There's a class next Friday.
Star says there's a class next Friday, also on tequila.
Slaying the Many Myths and Misconceptions of Rum with Matt.
Oh, right. No, this is one that we want to make. This is Slaying the Many Myths and Misconceptions About Rum. Yeah, so I probably want to be there for that one. Hopefully it's not in the middle of the day on Friday.
No, it's Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Yay, cool. That's the Museum of Distilled Spirits? Yep. Of which we are members, and the membership gets you a discount on signing up for their classes that pretty quickly pays for itself, especially if you're a couple, because primarily what that membership does is it transforms it from one person per camera to you can actually have the couple in front of the camera, so it halves the cost of the classes, which is pretty awesome. And we've done several of those now, just since, not since 2021 started, but since like December of 2020. We've done a number of these classes and are really kind of enjoying them. So, so that's cool. Got a class coming up with Matt Petrick again.
That's the one.
Oh, that is the one with Matt. Oh, duh. Okay. Of course, it would be the one with one. And then we have a class coming up that, this one will be interesting. So this is a class on Genevieve. So Genevieve is sort of the precursor to gin. It's also called Holland gin, and is done in a very different way than gin.
And we're not a fan.
Yeah, we have. I've not found a whole lot of Genevieve-based drinks that I really want to drink. I mean, it's not that they're good or bad drinks. It's just It's not my taste profile.
So I was going to skip the class, except for they announced a 3rd speaker at the class, and that 3rd speaker is our friend Zachary Faden. So we're going to that class.
Right. So Zach Faden, you may recall from earlier on in the conversation, is the one that did the variation of penicillin called the Cure, which has the grated ginger on it, and the Islay Scotch in it. I don't remember what he used. I'm sure Zach would be quite willing.
Lefroy.
Did he? Lefroy 10?
Yeah.
I don't know. The Brooklotti worked really well with that. So I oddly enough, I have no idea what time it is. So I have no idea if I am running over.
1 minute. 1 hour, 28 minutes.
1 hour, 28 minutes. Wow, I'm going long and just chatting away, and hopefully you guys are enjoying. I don't. You should not ever feel obligated to stay for the entirety of this discussion. Just pop in, pop out, however you want to do this. But I do enjoy doing these things, and this one seemed a lot of fun. I don't know in particular why this was great fun tonight. Not in opposition to other nights, but just a little notch above. So,
you got a cocktail to yourself.
I got a cocktail all to myself. Yay! Yeah, so there you go. Hopefully you guys have a great week. Don't work too hard. It's still the early part of the year. Pace yourself. We got a long year ahead of us, I'm thinking. So take care. Drink safely. Drink in moderation-ish. And, enjoy cocktailing. And we'll keep doing this just so long as I continue to have an audience. Because I'm a narcissistic Leo and like having people listen to me talk, and mix drinks for them and that sort of thing. And in the after times, you local folk, maybe we'll do a live studio audience sometime. That would be a lot of fun. You guys can heckle me from across the room.